All right, we have 10 minutes till showtime.
I wonder if the tone is in today. Nope, no tone in this one. That's good.
How does our work impact the community? I think at its base, what we've always tried to do with the Take a Stand show is that we're a conduit for the community. There's a story today in the Asheville Citizen-Times about an assault that took place in downtown Asheville. Now, normally, a single crime story like this wouldn't get a lead-off conversation on the program, but we've actually been talking for about the last week or so. There's been an increase in number of reports we're hearing from people that may not even be turned into police. So the impact for the community is that it gives the community a truly independent forum to have rise to the top whatever it is that they feel needs to be addressed.
Yeah, unfortunately, I know of 2 people in 2 separate incidents that happened. You know, I knew that from people that I know personally.
Yeah,
but they didn't. They went unreported, you know, because they don't want to go to the police, or they were embarrassed or scared, or whatever reasons that people don't report things like that.
In Western North Carolina, my perception is a lot of times crime-type stories don't get a lot of coverage. If you watch Channel 13 WLOS Evening Newscast, and you watch any newscast from the upstate of South Carolina, you basically have Eden versus New Fallujah. Sometimes it might be just laughing about something ridiculous that was said in some press reports or something, or it might be reopening the pedestrian bridge across 240. It might be something legislatively where we need attention here in Western North Carolina. We're not getting it from Raleigh. So really, it's always been for us about creating that conduit and also serving as a megaphone when there's a segment of the population that's not being heard in a discussion. And we don't always have to even agree what that stand is, but we feel it's our responsibility to give everyone a seat at the table when it comes to dialogue in the community, and that's always driven us. 505-2980 is your all-access number to free speech. Use it or lose it. 828-505-2980. We'll be right back.
News Radio 570 WWNC. It is Wednesday and it is the 4 o'clock hour, so we have the guys from Mountain Express who come in, David Forbes and Jake Frankel. I've always looked at doing this job as sort of a general store, the old-time general store, where I may be the owner, the proprietor of the general store, and there may be some regulars who sit in the rocking chairs, and we talk about just all sorts of issues. It may be political, it may be unpolitical, it may be about movies, it may be about driving, the weather, whatever it may be, but people come in, they hear a little bit of the conversation, they participate, or they just listen, and then they go on their way. I want to congratulate Alan Walker from Fletcher. He is the winner of the 2 VIP tickets to Taste of Black Mountain, so that's tomorrow. Alan, you're able to go at 5 o'clock because they are VIP tickets. Everybody else has to go at 5:30. You get to go at 5 o'clock. I always try to find stories that I think people are going to be interested in, but that are interesting to me. And I read a lot of websites, I do a lot of research, talk to a lot of people, have a lot of guests, because if I didn't get paid to do this job, I would not know as much about current events as I do. And I always try to keep that in mind, that people who don't do this type of job, they don't have time to read all the newspapers, read all the websites, see all the TV stations, and get all this information. So I attempt to get as much of it as I can and give it to folks so they're able to get a little bit of the information and go about their day. And if they want to call in and talk about it, we've got the platform to do that.
You're listening to Asheville Free Media, AshevilleFM.org. That was Lee Fields and the Expressions. Coming up next, Damon Gerardo. Thank you for listening. Well, I think that because we are made up of members from our community, that we can not only reflect the community that is existing, but add to it. Ways that we do that are through news and talk programming, music programming, we have comedy programming, poetry. I mean, it's a pretty broad picture, and we're adding some Spanish-speaking programming in, which I think is going to be really important. And maybe the next step towards adding even other languages and cultures that really aren't visible in a lot of the radio programming in Asheville or audible. It's all locally produced.
All locally produced. Cool.
So we're not getting a feed from anywhere else. We have the opportunity maybe in the future to do some other programs that are syndicated, but for now it's like anything that's locally produced is the most important.
Well, there's not much local radio left. And it's nice when you can open your doors to every nonprofit, every small business, every event that really needs that extra visibility. And radio is a very powerful tool, but the local community rarely gets to hear a show that focuses in on local issues, local events, like I said, local businesses and organizations. That's what we strive to do different here on Local Edge Radio, is be that conduit and that outlet for everything local. And so it's very community oriented.
Well, I really feel that my work impacts the community by the sharing of information. I think that's the simplest way to do it. Bringing issues to the fore that are not in the mainstream media with the frequency and the depths that really need to be discussed, whether we're talking about energy policy, environmental impacts, for example, from fracking, the social impacts of policies that are really hurting a lot of people. And the feedback I've gotten for 10 years, well, almost 11 years now on the program, has been essentially that it's a more in-depth discussion of what's happening, along with links for people and encouraging people to go to those links to find out more. It's not just talking about something and take my word for it. I actually, in a lot of cases, tell people point blank, don't believe a word I say. Mm-hmm. What I want you to do is go out and find out for yourself. So that I think that's an important part of anyone's contribution to the community, is to help an open dialogue, a civil discourse on the things that we're facing.
I was going to ask you, what's the biggest challenge in providing that forum for the community?
Working with Matt.
Oh, that was a serious question. God.